Emmanuel. We're taking your greetings all until 8:15 this morning. We have a very busy schedule to go through, and as you well know, that Brian Linton is still in police custody. We hope we can find some time today to give you an update on what's going on there, and if there's presumed charge of treason, why? We had so many incitement salvos being sent by so many different people, and nobody was ever charged or attempted charge for treason. Remember the statement by also remember the statement by Mr. I think it's Lennox Lawrence. So we try our best to get into that, but it's a very, very heavy schedule. So let me take your greetings starting right now. Yes, caller, good morning, you on?
Mr. Emmanuel.
Yes, how you doing?
Well, I'm not doing too good them because my heart is heavy, my eyes
Yes,
is heavy.
yes, I follow, yes.
You're playing a song there. Can you your cocoa guitar you can film?
All right, I'll ask the
let me tell
DJ
you,
to that.
if
Yes.
just take it easy, hold strong. A family of Mr. Linton is Mr.
Brian,
wife.
yes, right.
I'll check you this morning. We will meet. She just because we spoke this morning already. Take it easy, Lofty. Let me love
yes, I can understand. All right, cool. Yes, caller, good morning. You're on heavy morning.
Yeah, good morning to you.
Good morning. How you doing, my brother?
I'm all right, thank you, and good morning to your listeners. I want to express on behalf of the entire Cooper family our sincerest condolences to Earl Etienne family. Although he is our family, we pray God's blessing. We express our sincerest condolences to his wife, to his children, his siblings, his nieces, his nephews. And we just ask the Almighty Father to protect and to guide that family. And Cerilia Williams also is expressing her sincerest condolences to Lapridge and the rest of our family. Thank you so very much.
And Coppell, as you know, Earl is a member of the Thunderbirds family.
I know
He's a deep member of the Thunderbirds. He's a creative advisor.
But you know, Earl has made a meaningful contribution to the development of Dominica. And
yes,
I hope Dominica showcases or uses that because this is history, you know. Earl has been an artist for years.
Yes.
You know, Earl has been an artist. And it's sad to say it's too many times when people pass, we talk of the good. We have to recognize people before. And that's why I am the type of person, no matter who it is, I say it as it is, and I give people their flowers before they go. So I want to say I'm happy that I had the privilege to associate myself with Earl, who is a great hero. I am happy that he's part of our family, and I'm taking a bow. Yes, we are saddened of his passing, but we are happy that he was able to serve his country and serve with distinction. Earl served with honor and not for honor. And Earl is the person that would put his all into it. When he tells you he's involved in it, he's involved. And he was a very good person.
And Coppell, I will miss my roast fish on a Friday night.
Yes.
Yes, great brother, great brother. I hope I could find 15 minutes between today and tomorrow to actually give him his flowers.
That would be so fitting for the family. Thank you so very much.
You're welcome. Yes. All right. We're just talking of the dearly departed brother, creative artist, cultural artist, costume designer, represented Dominica all over the world in his arts. Passed yesterday, my dear friend, Earl Etienne. Let's take a call. Yes, good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Emmanuel, and how are you?
How are you doing?
I'm doing fine, thank you.
Fine, yes.
I would like to extend birthday greetings to Martha, Laura, Mahazel Anthony, and Geoffrey Joseph. They are all celebrating their birthdays today. Wishing them all the best, many, many more years, lots of love, and also what they wish for themselves. Right. Have a blessed day.
You too, have a blessed day. All right, let's take another call. Good morning, you're on caller.
Hey, blessed day to you, King. What's
Hey,
up
bro,
now?
what's up? Before you start, I got a very, very early message this morning that there's a little protest taking place in St. Joseph.
Oh, yes. Oh, from 5 o'clock this
This
morning.
morning, yeah, mostly ladies who on the streets with their banners and what have you. Yes.
Yes, but you know, my mobility is being
Yeah.
impaired.
Okay, all right, cool. All right. How you
But
doing?
the message came on my phone.
All right.
Came on my phone.
Okay,
There's a sister that was victimized.
Yes.
Very delicate. She and her sister, very, very delicate. I hear one of them is being, shafted.
Yes, okay.
Mr. Emmanuel, blessed day to you again.
Blessed day, sir.
Michael Coppell, blessed day, and I want to extend my condolences to Earl Aitken, friends and family. I heard about his condition. I heard it from you first, and then somebody updated me, tell me he's in a, critical condition. Blessed departure, King. It's just a transition, more life, more strength, more blessings, more glory. And one of my guardian angels, I forget yesterday. You know, the lady they call Lavinia.
The name sounds very familiar.
Huh?
It sounds very familiar. Does she call Pastor Rodney early in the morning?
No, it's like a lady they call Blue.
Oh, Blue.
Whether I am in the hospital or not, she has to call if she does not hear me and find out how I'm doing. And at the hospital, it was no exception. So I want to give thanks to Blue as well and all my other guardian angels. God blessings and more power and more life and more glory.
Okay.
I was like, I'm cold. Maybe the body's trying to get rid of all the drugs I took at the hospital. So the mucus is coming out. So my voice is a little hoarse this morning. My brethren, I give thanks to you, Matt Peltier, and everybody. God blessings. I pray that Mr. Linton is okay, Brian Linton. Do you know if he was released? I didn't know.
No. He's still in the cell. I'm gonna be doing a little something on that as soon as I get a break.
Blessings, bro.
Yes, I'm going to be playing some incitement statements, and nobody was really arrested for those statements. Okay, let's take a call and we'll continue. Good morning, caller. You on?
Morning, sir.
Morning. How you doing?
I'm good. I want to send birthday greetings to my mother, Mahazu. Today's her birthday, and my brother-in-law, Matthias Vigilant, and my two aunties, Shannon Janin in St. Martin, Tinad, and condolences to Earl Aitken wife, and also Audrey Thomas family. My wife a lot of the funeral, and I think a lady in Jimmy. So I forget her name. And to send condolences to Mark One in my family, and to Julie family in Massacre. So that do have a blessed day. Take care of yourself and love you. Bye.
All right, we're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back. All right. We have to inform our listeners that we're going to close the greetings line and we will open it up again tomorrow. All those who are celebrating birthdays, wedding anniversaries, as I always say, memorials, I hope you will have a beautiful day and then enjoy yourself, you and your family, you and your person who's enjoying that day. Please enjoy it. We have to go into a discussion right now with the pesticide control board. All right, they're going to be giving us information on pesticides and its relationship with, as you well know, pests, getting rid of pests. How do you manage or actually get rid of pests? All right. The guest is Anna Seraphin.
Hello, good morning.
Seraphin, and we're going to interact with her, or vice versa. She's also going to be interacting with us and give us some critical information regarding pesticides. Miss Seraphin, are you first?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, good morning. How you doing?
I'm good, thank you. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Dominica.
Okay, good morning. Good morning to you. Welcome on to the Q family.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
It's a pleasure. To get ourselves going, a little warm up into the discussion, could you just give us a brief orientation of what the Pesticides Control Board is?
Okay. Well, first of all, my name is Anna Marie Seraphin Alexander. I'm the produce chemist with the Ministry of Agriculture and the secretary to the Pesticide Control Board. Now, the Pesticide Control Board is the board that actually directs and control all the activities done for pesticide control in Dominica. That's basically the board.
That's basically the board.
Yes.
All right. And how is pesticides governed in the Commonwealth of Dominica? What's the governance of it?
Okay, any pesticide activity is governed by the Pesticide Control Act, which is the Act number 15 of 1974. And that act basically stipulates anything that is being done in pesticides, how it has to be done, and who has the responsibility for doing it. So again, the Pesticide Control Act dictates that there should be a board, and that is why we have established a board. And the board is made up of a few members of, various people from various establishments in Dominica.
And pesticides, it has anything to do with agriculture? I hope sooner or later we might get into this, right?
It has a lot to do with agriculture.
All right, my dear.
A lot of people actually think that is all it basically has to do with agriculture.
And it's literally not everything.
No, because there are pesticides in a lot of other things. So, for example, you have pesticides in agriculture, you have pesticides for household, you have pesticides in various other things, not just agriculture.
All right. So, in as much as we are in what are pesticides? Give the listeners a very good understanding of what a pesticide is. What is it?
In basic terms, a pesticide is any chemical that you would use to get rid of a pest. And that is what basically a pesticide is. And a pest, now we can say, is either an insect, we have herbs or weeds, and you have like rodents or rats, anything that basically, for example, in agricultural terms, anything that would hinder your production would be a pest. So you use a pesticide to control that.
So anything with a destructive nature relative to your farm?
Yes, that would hinder your production, you making your money, you know how it is. So,
yeah, cool. And could you tell us the different types of pesticides that's out there?
Okay, so we have quite a few pesticides. The categories actually that is, like when somebody say, I'm going for a pesticide, you need to know, what are they really talking about? So we have insecticides. That is a type of pesticide. And as you hear insecticide, which tells you straight off the bat that it deals with insects, or it controls only insects. We have herbicides, what we normally locally refer to as weedicides. You would hear farmers say, or other persons say, I'm going for a weedicide. That is a herbicide. We have rodenticides, which will control rats. We have fungicides, which only control fungus. We have nematicides that you would use for slugs and snails. And we have we have nematicides, for nematodes. Sorry, that's my error there. And the molluscicides that you use for slugs and snails. There are others like, bactericides and acaricides, but they're quite a bit. But every category basically tells you what it is responsible for.
So we have a regime then of pests over
Yes,
there.
there's a wide category.
What category?
Yes.
And how are all those pesticides linked to food safety?
Well, in terms of linking your pesticides to food safety, you think of things like, for example, storage,
Mm-hmm.
or you store your pesticides. So ensuring that your pesticides are not stored where you have food, your food for your home or food that is being sold. You understand? Again, your PPEs, your personal protective gear. Well, how you use what you use your when you actually applying pesticides on your farm.
Mm-hmm.
For example, even when you're applying the pesticides and after that, what you do, like you go in your kitchen or you go and prepare food for somebody, you understand the link right there. The way you use your pesticide would also, or you calling it implicate food safety. So, for example, ensuring that pesticides are used in the correct quantities. That is also very important because if you're a sprayman, if you have a farm and you have a pest problem, using pesticide in the correct quantities is very, very significant. It's very, very important. You don't just want to just because it's 1 liter, you assume you have plenty pests, you just go and spray the entire liter on your farm, and then you have residues of pesticides on your food. So you have to be able to use your pesticides the exact way that it's supposed to be used, and ensure that the labels are read correctly and properly, because sometimes a pesticide the pesticide always give you instructions. So
Right.
they might tell you do not use pesticide on vegetables, for example, a certain pesticide on vegetables. And because you do not read your label, you go and use that pesticide on vegetables, and that is not what it is meant for. So that would also have an impact on food safety.
So you have pesticide compliance when it comes to its use.
Yes, definitely.
Cool.
Definitely.
Can you either you get a little closer to the mic or can you speak up a little
Oh,
louder?
sure. Sorry.
Okay, cool. That's all right. That's cool. And we'll take a little break, and when we get back, all right? Take a little break, and when we get back, we're going to deal with. I would like to ask you a couple of questions on integrated pest management (IPM),
Yes.
so our audience can get, or listeners really can get a real good understanding of what is integrated pest management. All right. So we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back. All right, we're back. Miss Seraphine, you first.
Yes, I am.
Okay, cool, good. Before the break, we decided we're going to take a look at integrated pest management. And
Yes.
What is integrated pest management? And
Okay.
what are some of the other ways we can manage, in pesticides?
Okay. Integrated pest management is basically a sustainable method of managing your pest problem.
Mhm, mhm,
In basic terms, it is using a method that would not, create too much pressure on a farmer in terms of cost and stuff like that. And it's like, for example, using your cultural methods. So just an example of that would be if you have a pest problem and it's overtaking your farm, but at the same time your farm is not kept, is not well kept, and or your yard is not well kept. An integrated pest management would be something like using a cultural method, like for example, clearing of the weeds and all of that, using cutlass, using cultural methods such as that. Even some like local products that we have, you might see farmers using things like neem bush, or different bush that would actually citronella, different things that would kill pests instead of actually using a pesticide.
So it's a natural application then.
It's something like a natural application, but you
Okay.
have various types of integrated pest management.
All right,
Because
cool.
using pesticides is also a form of the integrated pest management, but it is where you use pesticide as your last resort.
Okay, cool. All right,
Yes.
good. And what are there benefits to that?
Oh, yeah, there are benefits to integrated pest management. Again, one of the benefits is the fact that you can actually use pesticide as your last resort. So you might find other ways, that would help you, especially for an organic farmer. So you don't necessarily have to use the pesticide. You get less, the pests get less resistant to the chemicals because, the more you use the chemicals is the faster the pests kind of like get, like if, for example, even now, I always say, you spray for mosquitoes and you still see the mosquito flying in your face because
Yes, I
yeah,
hear that. I like that.
exactly. So it's
I like
like
that one. Yeah.
they get so strong against that big on things
Yes,
like
yes,
that,
yes.
you know what I mean?
Mm.
So that kind of a thing. It helps
Ye-
protect the environment as well as a benefit
Right.
because you're using cultural methods, you're using natural enemies, things like that. So you don't really have too much pressure on the environment. And another way, it helps save money through the use of the cultural methods
Okay,
because you're
cool.
using things around you. You don't have to really go and buy,
Right. Right.
items and stuff. Yes.
So you're using your own local product
Using your own
to
local product.
control pests.
Exactly.
Okay, that's fantastic. So that all to do with organic treatment then. It's a type of organic treatment.
It's a type of organic, yes.
Yes.
A lot of people that into organic agriculture, you see them use a lot of their cultural methods as ways of reducing pests on their farms.
Okay, cool. So those methods, right? The method of the integrated pest management. Is it self-taught or are there sessions that the farmers would have to go through to understand the science behind the IPM?
Well, some of them are self-taught because again, like in growing up, you see, for example, what your grandfather has been doing on his farm. You see, what your uncle, so you learn from these things on your farm. And some of them you would have to go through sessions to basically do them. Because again, it's an integrated pest management.
Yes.
It's not just, integrated means different things coming together.
That's
So
right.
some of them you have to be, go through training to learn about them.
And what is the role of the agricultural department in all of that?
Well, the role of the agricultural department in all of this, the Ministry of Agriculture, is, for example, we through our extension department, we offer training to farmers. We also through the pesticide control board as well. We offer the training to the farmers. We provide them with information. We provide them with our technical expertise as to how you go about using pesticides, what you should do. Not always use pesticides at times. Where do you get the information, to know what it is that you have to do? Our role is to educate and to inform.
All right. So there are measures taken. Are there measures taken? I think that's what you're saying, but I would like you to elaborate a little more on this. Are there measures taken by the Ministry of Agriculture to ensure safe use and disposal of pesticides?
Okay, well, yes, there are measures taken, and there are measures that will be taken to do that. First of all, I would just like to inform that one of the main things is we have, like I said, we have laws that govern pesticide activities.
Right.
So one of the things that we do is have pesticides registered.
Okay.
So, for example, for a pesticide to be sold in the Commonwealth of Dominica, it has to be a registered pesticide,
Registered with whom?
registered with the Ministry of Agriculture
Okay.
Pesticide Control Board.
Okay, cool. Mm-hmm.
So this is a process. So I'm just going to give you a little idea as
All
to
right,
how
go right ahead. Yes.
happens. If you, as a importer or a manufacturer of a pesticide, want to start selling your pesticide in Dominica or want to have your pesticide available for use in Dominica, then you would contact us and you would ask for a registration. Then you're allowed to send us a dossier, that is all the information about that particular chemical, down to the certificate of production, where it has been sold, your EPA registration numbers, all of these things that would make us know that the pesticide that you want to have in Dominica is an authentic product, because you also know that there are a lot of fake products on the market as well. Now, when we receive that dossier, the dossier goes to a technical committee, and the technical committee reviews that chemical, and we will decide whether or not it should be put up for sale in Dominica or whether or not it should be used in Dominica. So some of the things, not all the time chemicals are actually registered, because some of the things that we look at is, for example, the environmental hazards. So if we have a chemical, for example, that somebody wants to register a chemical, but it says highly or extremely toxic to bees, then that is something we take into consideration a lot, because again, we are the Ministry of Agriculture, we need our bees. So that is something we might take into consideration. Highly toxic to fish or highly toxic in water, these kind of things, we take those things into consideration.
Okay, cool.
When
Go ahead, Mr. Irvin, go ahead.
When a pesticide is registered, it is then available for sale for agricultural use or household use. Now, in order for you to buy it, like let's say you, the host, wants to buy the pesticide or wants to bring it in for sale, then you get an import permit that will give you permission to actually bring in that chemical after it is registered. And then you can bring it in and go on the port and clear it. If you do not have the clearance, then most likely customs will seize it, and then we have to actually get rid of it. So I just wanted to explain that
Yes.
process.
And you use the acronym EPA. Could you explain what that is?
Okay, the EPA is the Environmental Protection Agency. It's in the United States, and they're basically responsible for, like, you can go to the EPA and see any chemical in the world, and if it is registered. So the reason why we use the EPA is because if it's not really there, then like that pesticide has not gone through the entire manufacturing
Yes.
and it has
Or
not
approval process.
exactly through the entire approval process. As long as it has an EPA registration number, then we know, okay, boom, you meet the target. But also that doesn't really say that we will register it either.
Okay, so that is certification coming from the US. You have a different certification in Dominica?
Well, our certification, like I say, we look at different things. We look at the environmental factors. We look at factors on human. You understand? We look at different factors.
Okay.
But even again, not because something is actually registered for use in the US or around the world, that we will actually register it for use in Dominica.
Okay, cool.
One, our terrain is different.
Yes.
A lot of the things are actually different. Sometimes the crops that they're being used on in other countries, we do not actually produce these crops. So it wouldn't make sense, register a product for example, for cotton. What we register in a product for cotton for, if we do not produce cotton,
or for apples.
Or for apples, right?
Yes.
So these are some of the things that we actually look at.
All right, in our fragile environment, we must protect it.
Yes.
All the time. All right, so we will get into a little of the do's and don'ts of pesticides.
Sure.
After a quick break, okay? We will get into what you should do or what you shouldn't do relative to pesticides in your possession, as well as pesticides, according to Ms. Serafin, that may become in your possession. So we'll take a quick break and we'll be right back. All right, we're back. Quick break. And we have with us Miss Anna Seraphin, who is giving us some critical information on the use and management of pesticides in our agricultural setting. Very good job, Miss Seraphin. You with us still? You there?
Thank you very much. Yes, I am.
Very, very fantastic job. Could you just explain to the audience out there what are some of the do's and don'ts relative to pesticides?
Okay. For example, one of our do's and don'ts, which is very, very important, is you always store pesticides in a locked, well ventilated cupboard or storeroom. That is very, very important. Again, pesticides are chemicals. So when you store them, you have to store them in areas where they do not get too much heat. They have to be aerated so that the fumes and so forth you can actually get rid of them. You store it away from your food and water supplies. Chemicals are poisonous. Pesticides are poisonous. So you never store pesticides near your food or your water supplies. Out of the reach of children, which is also significant, especially now, children are doing homeschooling, everybody's at home. You ensure that your pesticides are stored in areas where your children do not have access to them, in covered and properly labeled intact bottles or packages. So you ensure that the pesticide is stored in a bottle that is labeled, that can cover properly. It's not something that if somebody picks it up, the cover just falls off or it's leaking. So that is very important. Never purchase or store pesticides in alcohol, soft drink, malt, beer, or juice bottles. This is also very significant because, again, that can help save a life. For example, if you store a pesticide in a juice bottle, what you think might happen, especially if it's not labeled, it's very easy for somebody to pick it up and think it's juice.
That's correct.
Right? I think, again, if you've seen pesticides, you realize that pesticides sometimes come in various colors.
Colors, that's correct.
Right, they look attractive.
Very attractive.
We have juices that also come in various colors. So you have to be very careful as to how you store them and in what containers you store them. Do not purchase pesticides in unlabeled plastic bags. This is significant as well. Sometimes we have importers or retailers who, because they cannot afford to sell things in bulk, they would buy one package and they tend to repackage.
That's correct.
What they would do, they would repackage in like the small ice pop bags, these kind of things. We always discourage that because it's easy. For example, we have pesticides that look like salt and look like sugar. So having that in a clear bag and having pesticides also in that clear bag, and according to how you store it, it's easy to pick up that bag of pesticide and think it's a bag of salt.
Very dangerous.
Very, very dangerous, especially if it's not labeled. Do not transport pesticide together with your food, animal feed, or drinks. Again, I know sometimes you can think it's a matter of convenience. Is one transport I have. I go in Roseau once a week and do my shopping. Everything have to go in the boot of my truck or something like that. But you have to know how you separate in.
So you have to prevent it from being friable then. Whatever you do, it has to be not friable. In other words, it cannot get out from the bag while you're driving and contaminate you.
Or moving up and down.
Moving up and down.
It burst, it fall on the bag of rice. You understand? These are the kind of things that we're trying to avoid. Always use the correct pesticide for the correct pest or for the type of pest. This is significant because, again, if you have a cockroach problem at your home or in your yard or in your surroundings, what would you buy? Are you going to buy a rodenticide or a fungicide? No, you buy an insecticide. So we need people to understand, when you say you're going to buy a pesticide, you have to know what it is that you're going for. You have to know what type of pest problem that you have in the first place, because we would hear people say, oh, let me go buy Ambrose Judge and buy a pesticide. What is the pest problem that you have? What pesticide are you going for? Because sometimes you use something and that is not what you need to use at all. You understand?
Yeah, I understand clearly, yes.
Right. So when the customer goes to the store, they have a right to inform the people at the store, oh, look, I have a rat problem or I have a cockroach problem. What is the best thing for me to use? And the retailer will tell them, well, for roaches, we have this, we have that, and then you know exactly what to use. Read your instructions on your pesticide label. We ask farmers, we ask householders, we ask everybody, read your instructions on your
So what
pesticide.
if you cannot read? What happens?
If you cannot read, again, I always say there's no shame in that.
Nothing wrong with that.
Exactly. There are people who cannot read. But if
Right.
you're going to buy something at a store,
Mhm.
or if you have children at your home, your grandchildren, somebody that is there, before you use the pesticide, ask them, could you tell me exactly what this says? Because one, it will tell you what dosage you're supposed to use. It will tell you if, for example, what type of allergies to expect. If, for example, you might expect a runny eyes, all of these things. If you need to even spray it while you're in the house, or should you leave the house, or you understand these kinds of things.
Yes,
So we
yes.
have to be very, very important. Ask somebody.
You ask
Again,
somebody, do not be ashamed
do not be ashamed.
to ask somebody
Right
because
now,
it is for your own health.
very much so. For your own health, for
Right.
my own health,
Mhm.
for everybody's own health.
The health of the community.
Because you would see people, for example, spraying stuff, outside in the open, and you walking along, or you have a school right next door, or you have a restaurant right next door. You understand? You have to
Yes,
understand these things travel.
exactly.
They go
They're
in the air.
freeable. As you say, it's freeable.
Exactly. So we have to read our label and know exactly what to do.
Great.
Again, using the correct dosage is very important.
And that is compliance.
That is compliance.
Right.
Because as human beings, we have the tendency to think, and to be very honest, I am being very honest, that more is always better.
Mhm.
Sometimes more is not always better.
Or you're trying to pissionate, you're trying to save.
Either you're trying to pissionate, but a lot of times in pesticides, what
Right.
we find or what we see happening is the more is always better.
Better.
So what you find people do, they have a pest problem, they're trying to eradicate it one time. So if the product says use 1 teaspoon in a gallon of water, some of them want to use 5 teaspoons in a gallon of water.
For quick results. Huh?
Quick results. And
Yeah.
that doesn't happen. It doesn't necessarily give quick results. What might happen is you're going to get that pest more resistant to your chemical
Yeah.
because you're not using the correct dosage. So you might hear some farmers say sometimes, or people say, boy, more I use that is more that the work we.
Mhm.
You understand what I'm
Because
saying?
you're overusing it.
Right, so you're overusing it.
Uh-huh.
You're overusing it. So sometimes you need to change your chemicals now and then so that the pests kind of get bazudi, as we say.
I
You
like
give
that.
that today, you give
I
them
like
that
that.
tomorrow, and you just like disrupt their whole mind.
Mhm.
They don't know what to expect from you.
Confuse them.
Exactly.
Yes.
Observe the safety precautions given on the label. So on
Mhm.
the label, again, the pesticide always says what to do.
True.
Pesticides always give instructions. So you might see things like the crossbow, the skull and the crossbow.
Yes.
We always tell people when you see a skull and a crossbow, you know already that is poison, that is
Poison, yes.
danger, that is death. So you know already you have to prepare yourself, you have to protect yourself. You might see pesticides that say danger, some might just say caution, you understand? And that will indicate to you the level, of toxicity, like how strong it is, how
How strong-
deadly it
How
is.
deadly it is, really. Yes.
But it still doesn't say that you can use it vice.
Okay.
It still
Cool.
doesn't say you haven't got to protect yourself when you're using it. So see, what like danger and caution. It's true they mean different things, but they're also, indications that you should protect
Yeah,
yourself.
they're instructive.
Exactly. Thanks a lot.
Okay.
Do
Good.
not inhale, drink, or swallow pesticides. You understand? When they come, for example, when they come in contact with your skin or so. And that goes to say how important it is for our users of pesticides to use their personal protective equipment, which we refer to as the PPE. You see, when COVID had just started, everybody was talking about PPE for nurses, PPE for this, PPE for that. We have PPE for farmers as well.
Okay, cool.
So they have to use their goggles, they have to use their respirators, they have to use their gloves, their long sleeve, long pants, boots, etc. One of the problems that we have is they complain. A lot of people always complain and say, "Oh, the weather's so hot, and I have to be using long sleeve for how long and whatever." But it protects
It's
your life.
protection. Yes.
Exactly.
It's
So
critical.
that's one of the
And what's
things.
critical in this particular plank you explain is do not inhale.
Right,
That
right.
is extremely critical because your lungs are involved in inhalation,
Yes, yes.
and you can contract serious disease
Serious diseases.
by
Yes,
inhaling
less
pesticide.
chemical poisonings through
Chemical poisoning is
inhalation.
not easy. It's very, very difficult to manage. All
Right.
right, go ahead, my dear. Go ahead.
And talking on that very same, inhalation, and so
Mhm.
again, when you're using a pesticide and showing how important the protective layer is, pesticides can enter your body through orally, like you say, through your mouth.
Yes, very much. Yes.
So again, while you spraying, you're talking or you eating or you whatever, that's a no-no. Pesticide
Mhm.
can enter through your skin.
That's
One of
correct.
the reasons that we say dermal through your skin, one of the reasons we actually encourage people to use their long sleeves and their
Mhm.
gloves all the time. You
Mhm.
understand? Pesticide can also enter through your eyes.
That's correct.
They enter through the eyes. So we encourage farmers, we encourage persons to use their goggles or their specific protective, gears for that. And it's
Mhm.
also important to make sure that a lot of the things that we're using are chemical resistant. They exist, they might be expensive, but they do exist. So buying your PPE and you saying it expensive,
Mhm.
how expensive you think it's going to be when you have to go to the
Make
doctor
it
10,
simple.
20, 30, 40, 50 times?
Mm.
If you
And,
understand.
yeah, another word for resistance, so everybody understand this. We say when you have a watch and it's waterproof,
Right.
that
Exactly.
water cannot penetrate it. So
Right.
you have, but the gear you have proof yourself against
Yes.
contaminating whatever what contamination. Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Hmm.
Thank you very much. So that's
You're
exactly.
welcome, Maida. You're welcome.
Use your proper application equipment for the pesticides.
Hmm.
Again, you find sometimes somebody might just put pesticides in a pail and take
Hmm.
something like a cup or a Vienna sausage tin, dip
Yes.
in their hand, and they go in and spread.
Yes, I.
You understand what I'm saying? Because we
Yeah.
see these things.
Hmm.
There are proper equipment for applying pesticides. So, for example, like your knapsacks and so forth, and you ensure that these things are being calibrated. Calibrated meaning that they're being checked.
Checked. Yes.
You check the nozzle, you check the hose, because each part of that equipment has a function. So, for
It
example,
has to be balanced. In other words.
exactly, it has to be balanced. So
Yes.
if your nozzle have maybe three different holes, shooting holes,
Hmm.
each hole is a different pressure. When the
Exactly.
nozzle is blocked, then you find you do not get that kind of pressure. You do not get the correct amount
Hmm.
of chemical coming out of it. You have drippage, you have all of that happening. So you need to calibrate your
Yes.
equipment.
Okay. Hmm.
Always ensure that your pesticide, you spray on the crops, how
Hmm.
you call it, like before your harvesting interval. You're supposed to have a harvesting interval. This
Right.
is important.
Hmm.
We always encourage farmers to, because sometimes, again, how would I put it, you have to go to the market tomorrow, just
Hmm.
an example,
All right.
and you go on your farm today Friday, but you have to go market Saturday, and you see, let's say, a set of caterpillars,
Hmm.
talking logical, eh? A
Yeah.
set of
Yes.
caterpillars
Logical.
on
Yes.
your cabbage, and you're checking, boy, I have to go market tomorrow. We look at all the caterpillars that on my cabbage.
Mhm.
You do not spray. Please, please, please. We beg
Yeah,
and
the consumer going to pay for that.
exactly, do not spray.
Uh-huh.
Caterpillar is not going to kill anybody.
Anybody,
Um,
yeah.
right. So we encourage farmers, if you see a pest the day before harvesting, do not spray.
Very
You're
good.
supposed to have at least 1 week to
Mhm.
2 weeks interval
Okay, cool.
before you harvest your crop. And
Mhm.
again, all this information is on the pesticide label. You
Mhm.
understand?
Mhm.
Because you see, sometimes people say, oh, you give people pesticides to eat. In the real world, where food and everything is being manufactured and processed, there is something called a maximum residue level.
Mhm.
So that means on the agricultural produce, there is a certain amount of pesticides that can be required,
And it's acceptable.
yes, to be on a produce.
Right. Okay.
And
Good.
then when you wash it out or whatever, when you peel it out, it
Right.
leaves.
Okay.
But there is that thing. But we do not want our residue levels to be so high, whereas you actually get people, sick from it.
Cool. Good.
Do not mix pesticide with your bare hands.
Yep.
You might figure to yourself, why is she saying that? People actually do that? Yes, some people actually do that. And we want to encourage the public not to do that at all. There are ways for mixing. There are instruments that you can use for mixing. So we do not advise people to use, their hands. Again, do not use things from your kitchen. If you use something from your kitchen, then you store it in the storeroom where you have your pesticides. So you take a spoon in your kitchen. After you finish mix, don't put that back in your wife
Yeah, that should go in the garbage or
then
wash
it should go in the garbage or it go in the storeroom where you have your pesticides, so you
for
know
next time. Yes.
exactly.
Mhm.
Do not use empty pesticide containers for drinks and water.
Okay. Yes.
That is important because sometimes we have big containers that like the pails,
Yes. Yes. Or the big blue drums. Yes.
right? The big blue drums, all of this. So people tend to use them after for storing water. We discourage it. That is not something we advise. What we advise farmers to do after you use your pesticides, you triple rinse that pesticide container, meaning that you rinse the container 3 times. By WHO standards, it actually eliminates 99.9% of the pesticides that is stored.
WHO,
World Health
World
Organization.
Health Organization. I just
Yes.
want the listeners to understand this. Yes.
Thank you. It
Okay.
actually eliminates 99.9% when you triple rinse the container. After you triple rinse, in order for somebody not to use it, you puncture the container and you can store or get rid of it.
Yeah, right. Great. Very good. Very good presentation. We're going to take a break and then we'll come back for you to sum up, Miss Seraphin. Okay?
No problem.
Fantastic presentation. All right, we're back, and Miss Seraphin, you're first.
Yes, I am.
Okay, so we're going to sum up, and let me just run some things here because I know you're tightening it up and what have you. And we're discussing pesticides, how what are the functions of it, what are actually pesticides, the types of pesticides, the pesticide safety, how does pesticide link to food safety, and the integrated pest management of some of the pesticides we use, or probably all of the pesticides we use. Am I quoting that accurately?
Yes, integrated pest management or
Right.
the practices that we can use. Yes.
Okay, good. So can you just sum up first, and if you leave a telephone number or whatever means of communication, our listeners or farmers who are instructed of the discussion this morning can get to you?
Sure.
Mhm.
Again, one of the things that at the Ministry of Agriculture, Pesticide Control Board, we encourage is for persons to always visit us. We have a list of registered pesticides. So we try to let people know that before you actually import a pesticide, you need to find out one, if that pesticide is registered, and how am I allowed to bring it into the country. So we issue you a permit. This is very, very important because what you find happening is people order chemicals. When they get to the port, they kind of get a permit and then they get angry with us. So come for the information. The list is also available to the general public, so it's not a problem to give you the list of registered pesticides. We can also be, we are available at the Division of Agriculture, Botanic Gardens. You just come to the main office. You can ask for Miss Seraphin, And our telephone number is 266-3807, 266-3810, and 266-3831.
All right, the numbers again are 266-3807,
Yes,
3810,
yes,
and 3831.
yes. So anything relating to pesticides, you can call these numbers.
Okay, cool. And any teaching tools are available to people who using on a daily basis or over the period of crop and crop harvest pesticides? Any teaching tools
Yes,
from
we have.
your ministry or your department? Sorry.
Yes, we have posters available with a lot of information on it, various posters with everything that you could basically ask for, down to measurements and so forth. So that is also available to the public. It's also available to our importers, our retailers. So if they're interested in that, they can also come to us for it. We also make it available to them by sending it out, especially when we have our pesticide awareness week in September. We make a lot of these materials available to the general public.
All right, cool. Anything else you'd like to add?
Well, I would just like to tell everybody again, when using a pesticide, please be careful, please read your label, and don't be afraid to approach us for information. That is our job. We are supposed to inform the public. So check us out. We have the information that you require.
All right, cool. Thank you. Anything related pesticides and COVID, and can we integrate any of that in the discussion? Can you just briefly instruct our listeners on how careful you have to be if you're using pesticides, but you also have COVID around, so you must be extra careful.
Yes, yes. And again, for example, like some of the symptoms of the COVID,
Yes.
is the coughing, the asthma, some of these things. So especially like for people using the household chemicals, because a lot of us right now are being quarantined at home.
Right.
A lot of us are being quarantined at home. So just spraying, your homes with the various type of insecticides and so forth. You have to be careful because if somebody is already suffering with COVID, which affects their respiratory, system,
Yes.
you have to be really, really careful how you go about using pesticides around your family or around that person.
All right, and also remind your users that there are restrictions on the use of the pesticides.
Yes, there definitely are restrictions on the use of the pesticides.
And
You
there's
have
quantities as to given to you as to how you should actually dispense the pesticides.
Yes, there are quantities. Again, all of that is on the label. You know
Right.
exactly how much to use, when to use, and how you should go about using it. So reading the label is very, very important.
Yes, and in case you cannot read, you should ask for help.
Read, you should ask for help. You can even come right there and ask me for help.
All
I
right,
will
great.
help. So
Okay, great. All right, Miss Safin, thank you very much for your contribution. Fantastic. I
Thank
hope we can do that again.
I hope so as well.
All right. Okay. Thank you. Have a beautiful day.
Have a blessed day. Good
You
day,
too.
Dominico. Bye-bye.
Calling all Flow prepaid customers. Flow's new value-loaded, always-on prepaid plans made great news for you. Get unlimited talk, up to 50% more data, and more international minutes to keep you always connected. Try our 7-day always-on plan today and get 8 gigabytes of data and 500 local and international minutes for only $30. Dial *129# now to activate a plan or visit discoverflow.co for more information. Terms and conditions apply.
Finally, it's coming your way. If not now, then when? Dominicans, John presents Meet and Greet on Wheels for Electoral Reform in Dominica. The first stop, Point Michel, La Pointe, Sunday, 27 February 2022. Dominicans, be there. Forward march to freer and fairer elections in Dominica. All are invited. See you there.
As the CEO of my home, I only shop at Astamans. Why? Because I am confident in getting everything I need at the most competitive prices and highest quality. Shopping, oh, so easy. My kitchen is never without Dutch Lady, Chief, Swiss, MP, and Promos products. Not to mention the Astor margarines for my baking. A wide assortment of all canned goods is a must-have for those on-the-go days. But you know what I truly appreciate? Their daily stock of fresh produce catering to our health and wellness, innovative options, and the commitment to the environment. They offer the best line of biodegradable and vegan products. My children love when I go to Astafans because they know I'll bring back amazing snacks. Cleanup is easy with the best detergents, fabric softeners, bleach, toilet cleaners, and disinfectants on the market. Yes! Did I say they have the freshest and cheapest meats? When I give my annual report, my husband must give me my promotion. So wives, mothers, and even fathers, make the wise decision. So much to discover. Affordability that can't be compared. Astafans, right place, right price.
In 2022, I'm going to plan towards starting my own business,
going to the World Cup, sending my kids to university,
buy my first car,
retiring early,
paying off my mortgage.
One story, countless dreams. And Sagicor's wide range of financial solutions will help make your dreams come true.
Bring it on, 2022.
Learn more at Sagicor.com.
Are you an emerging artist? Would you like the chance to have your work shared across the world and win $2,000? Then the Art of Banking is for you. Republic Bank presents the Art of Banking. Win a $2,000 grand prize or the $1,000 People's Choice Prize. This is your chance to shine. Visit republicpromotions.com/Art of Banking for details. Emerging artists must be 18 years and older. Terms and conditions apply. Republic Bank. We're the one.
Q95, the big station, presents Kudos to Our Heroes. Our 9th Dominican hero is consummate distinguished businessman Herbert Suki Winston. We recognize, appreciate, and award Mr. Herbert Suki Winston on Q95, the big station, for his valuable transformational lifelong social and economic accomplishments, his pioneering works, and meaningful lifetime achievements as a great entrepreneur and businessman who has inspired generations of Dominicans at home and abroad in numerous ways, but especially the poor and underprivileged, for his caring character and humility, and for his deep and extensive knowledge and expertise in business, among other things. A great man of humble beginnings, he will without a doubt be remembered as always striving to be the best he can be and to be the best at whatever he does. Kudos to Mr. Herbert Suki Winston, his wife Vicky, and his family. Mr. Winston is indeed a true Dominican hero for instilling a positive mental attitude that elevated the content of the social and cultural dialogue on matters of human well-being, and for being a great Dominican who demonstrated that each one of us can do extraordinary things in whatever we set our minds to do. Q95 listeners at home, in the region and worldwide, join us in recognizing, appreciating, awarding, and extending kudos to our 9th Dominican national hero, consummate and distinguished businessman, Herbert Suki Winston. If you would like to make a personal contribution to our phenomenal heroes or to our Kudos to Our Heroes committee, take it to the Q95 radio office on Hanover Street in Roseau, or go to the Q95 website at www.q95da.com and make your donation. Call us at 767-448-5822 or at 305-906-4216, or talk to one of our representatives. Let us all together say a huge thank you to all our Dominican heroes from the Q family at home and abroad. Only on Q95, the big station.
Is your number one choice for all your automotive needs. We have the best in new and reconditioned vehicles. For over 25 years, AutoTrade has represented top quality brands like Suzuki, Kia, Nissan, and Hyundai commercial trucks. We are the leading provider for genuine auto parts and accessories at affordable prices. Need your car fixed? Our trained and certified technicians will do it right the first time with professional service using state-of-the-art equipment, getting you back on the road in no time. And did you know we provide hassle-free financing on all your vehicles? We are the best choice for a complete automotive experience from purchase to parts and service. Because at AutoTrade, it's not just a vehicle, it's a relationship.
Flow prepaid customers. Flow's new value-loaded, always-on prepaid plans made great news for you. Get unlimited talk, up to 50% more data, and more international minutes to keep you always connected. Try our 7-day always-on plan today and get 8 gigabytes of data and 500 local and international minutes for only $30. Dial *129# now to activate a plan or visit discoverflow.co for more information. Terms and conditions apply.
All right, Zai Manuel, we just had pest control with us, and we went for a real long hour just to inform users of pesticides that it is in their best interest to understand what they're doing when they're using pesticides. But we know in Dominica, there's another type of pestilence. I have to put it this way. Just to segue into the discussion we're going to have until I think 9:30, going to the 10 o'clock hour. And then after the next group comes in here for discussion, we will open up the lines again to deal with the Brian Linton matter. It is my understanding as of this morning, very early this morning, based on a few phone calls I made, I do not know if there's any update at this point, but Brian was still in police custody. For what reason? We do not know. And it's not good any time to repeat what the cops are saying that he's in custody for, because we might be spreading some information that has no basis in reality. No, let me say it again, no basis in reality. So we have to be very, very careful as to what we say, how we say it, when we say it, especially when it's coming from areas that could be very toxic. I'm going to be frank and clear this morning, as usual. Areas that can be very toxic. And whoever is listening, I'm saying information coming from areas that are very toxic, should be taken very, very, very seriously and ensure that it is not driven into the public so the public can take it for gospel and take it for truth. In other words, you take that information with a grain of salt. And Brian, as you well know, was taken into police custody since yesterday, and for the past 24 hours. He's in police custody. If I'm still correct, but I just did an hour discussion. So if there's any new update, please call. When the lines are open, please call me and give me the new update. For what? For what? We will explain in a while. We're going to take a break and we'll be right back. All right, we're back. I'm just getting some information here, and I really don't want to repeat it until it's confirmed. To a great extent, it's very disturbing, very, very disturbing. And I know it's coming from a very close source that Brian has been charged. Please correct me again. It's alleged that Brian has been charged with treason and or incitement. This is information that is come that just this is why I took a break. It's coming to me. I really wanted to absorb it. Can somebody please call and confirm this with the family? Please call and confirm this with the family. Is it true? Let's take a call. Good morning, caller. You're on.
Good morning. Good morning.
Morning. How you doing?
Oh, not too bad. Not too bad. Listen, it is a gross act of injustice. How can it be okay for the leader of a country to go to an international conference and announce to them that he is identifying, exposing, and going to eliminate NGOs and civil society because they want to overthrow his legally elected government? How can it be okay for a prime minister to threaten to eliminate citizens for whom he is responsible in terms of their welfare and their livelihood? How can he go there and say it and nobody picks him up? He's threatening to eliminate. What does eliminate mean?
To do away with. To do away with.
Yeah, it means getting rid of.
Yes, to do away.
That's what we're trying to do with the for instance, the virus, the COVID virus. We're trying to eliminate the virus,
Yes.
get rid of it.
All right.
So the PM goes and says he wants to eliminate people who apparently want to overthrow him.
All right. So let's move on because I'm leaving the lines open. All right. Let's move on because we understand there's a particular charge placed on a particular individual at this point, and would really like to confirm this.
Sorry, I didn't quite catch what you said.
Yeah, I'm saying that we're leaving our lines open at this point for a call to come in as to whether it is true that Mr. Linton, that's Brian Linton, was charged with treason, which is what you're saying, indirectly. All right, so I'm going to take a call. I'm going to take a call, and let's see what's on this line. Yes, caller, you're on. Good morning.
Yeah.
Morning.
What's up, sir?
I'm cool.
Greetings. I just heard what you said about the charge, but isn't it the duty of the courts to do that?
I do not know. I'm not a lawyer. I do not know.
No, I'm just saying. I mean, the police cannot just charge him for whatever incitement or treason. It has to go through a court.
Well, my understanding is he's heading down to the court as we speak. But I just need more clarity. I need more clarity on this.
It's time for Marigot to shut down. I mean, it's sad. It's time for Dominica to shut down the country, man. It's time for Dominica to. Today is Brian. Today next they're gonna be someone else. People have to try to shut down the country. Marigot, Bowie, Point Michel, Soufriere, Stutset, Granby. What are y'all? Y'all think it's gonna get better? It's sad, bro. Have a blessed morning. I'm listening.
Let's take a call. Yes, caller, you on. Good morning.
Sir, good morning.
Morning, how you doing?
Not badly at all, living by grace and mercy.
Mm-hmm.
Sir, you know, the Prime Minister was on QFM. Was it Wednesday night? Tuesday night.
Tuesday night, yes.
Tuesday night, yes.
Right.
You know, I believe that there were plans to arrest Brian.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they couldn't have known it on Monday
because it would disturb the Tuesday night, yes.
Right. He was going to be on, and you know
right.
what would have happened to that program.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, okay, I'm going to be on QFM on Tuesday night. All right. Let's arrest him on Wednesday. So I'm not on any program, but he'll come back on the program, yeah.
I hear you, bro.
He will come back on the program.
Oh yeah, it's a great opportunity.
And he's going to have those questions to answer, yes. Whether on DBS, whether on Kyrie, whether on whatever it is, right? Whether he has to answer those questions. Because I am very sure, very, 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 very sure that that order might have come from the Prime Minister. Thank you.
All right, cool. Listeners out there, if it is true, let me play some things to you that Brian has addressed, and we'll take it from there, and I'll play something else that was spoken by two other people, and nobody was arrested. Listen to Brian, please.
Building which will house the services offered by the Marigot Hospital is almost completed. Right now, they are in the process of doing the landscaping around that building. It's a very huge structure. Looks a very solid structure. But again, as I indicated, that's just a building, my brother. Our focus and our concern right now is with how well is this building going to be equipped to provide the various health services that the community requires. That is where our mind is. That's where the thoughts of the people of Marigot are right now. In light of the fact that we've been noticing the difficulties encountered by the government to properly equip the new China Friendship Hospital. And we are reasoning to ourselves that if the government has so much problem in equipping the new China Friendship Hospital, which is the main hospital facility in Dominica, and given the amount of victimization and oppression and persecution that the people of Marigot have faced from this government, we are wondering how well this building will be equipped so that it can be called a hospital based on the services provided. So that's where our concern is. We also have some thoughts with respect to the people who are going to be working in the hospital in Marigot. Are we going to see a batch of foreigners coming in from out of Dominica to work in that hospital? Are they going to give any consideration to the locals from Wesley, Marigot, Carb Reserve, and the surrounding villages to be employed at that facility, given all the required skills and expertise required, even in the area of health? You can find that among the citizenry of the northeastern part of Dominica. So we're just hoping for the best. And again, we just need to remind the people that the Marigot Hospital was first built somewhere way back in 1920, and it was an initiative by the people of Marigot, and it was so for many years before the government decided to assume control of that facility. So right now, as it stands, we are without a hospital, and even the health center, which was opened there some months ago, again, operating way below standard and so on. And as a consequence of that, we have experienced many deaths in Marigot recently and in the too recent past. So that's how it is in Marigot. We await the thorough completion of the hospital, which does not only include the building, but the equipment and the qualified and capable staff to provide the services. As the Marigot building project nears completion, we also have to remind our public of the cost overrun involving the construction of that facility, the significant cost overrun, somewhere in the tune in excess of $18 million. It was originally priced somewhere just over above 32 million. And at the end of the exercise, so far we've have information which indicates that the price so far has exceeded $50 million. So we see significant cost overruns with respect to that. And we know how these things work out. You're a city planner in corrupt countries. We know how these cost overruns are usually come up in terms of government corruption and people skimming money and overpricing projects so that the dirty politicians can get their cut. This is against the background that we have concerns with how the building is going to be properly equipped and properly staffed. We've experienced, before the completion of the building, cost overruns on the Marigot Hospital facility in excess of $18 million. And so that's where we are.
All right, this is the voice of Brian Linton.